last week from someone, and I figured Misty doesn't know what the question is, so haven't told her, so I was going to ask her and then see what her response was, and of course give my response as well. So, and then I hope that you guys get some value out of this. Maybe someone out there, this might help somebody as well. You might be in a situation where you're thinking, maybe that was a question that you had, and maybe at the same time you might learn a little something. So, that's why we decided this would be a great way to do that. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And of course, we would do the same thing, answer your question online here. We ask you keep it business related, real estate related, buying, selling a home, or real estate investing. So I'll answer stock questions, but that's not my favorite. But anything revolving about real estate, buying, selling, investing in real estate, or business. So the question that I got for you is, what made you interested to become a realtor? Why'd you do it?
Well, we were already real estate investors for a decade or more, and it became more of a time thing for us. Like, we wanted to be able to see the homes and not have to see them quick because they're going quickly, and we didn't want to have to work on somebody else's schedule. Or we felt kind of like we were bothering somebody because we had to see it at this time or that time.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the reasons. The other reasons because I wanted to do property management, and I couldn't do that for other people unless I was an agent.
Mm-hmm.
And another reason, it gave us access to things quicker.
Comps, that kind of stuff. If you're an investor, you can't get comps. You can. We got to a point where we had a pretty good idea of what things were selling for in certain neighborhoods as an investor. But when you're an agent, like now that we're agents, we can go pull actual comps, see what's being sold, and there's some value in that. See what's being sold in the area. You don't have to worry about, I think this was what it was or whatnot. And then of course you can see, a more in depth about that neighborhood too that you couldn't see as an investor. So a lot of investors go and pay for these programs and things, and you can either do it that way or you just become an agent. So I think another thing too was, and then this question that was asked to me was asked by someone who is considering getting a license. They've never done real estate in their life. I know by the time we stepped up to go get our license, we had known a lot more than most agents. And I'm not making fun of any agents, it's just we had already been in a different half of the business. So once we got our license and we could begin to help buy and sell, we weren't trying to be the buy and sell king or queens, but we have helped people sell their home, we've had helped people buy a home, and we still do today, but it was easier access for sure. We got better access to
our own schedule.
To our own schedule as well. So and I think that person that was asking the question, because they've never been in real estate, I think what they were getting at, that was why we started, but I think what they were getting at is what made us interested in it to begin with, because they're interested in it, but they're not doing the same thing we're doing, if that makes any sense. So I think part of that is, when that person asked me that, my response was, a lot of it was like my own schedule and time, which is what you had mentioned, but we were already in real estate. So someone who's getting involved, who doesn't really know much about it, most people get involved and want to become an agent or a realtor because they're thinking big checks. But what they don't realize is that it's actually a lot of damn work. You think, oh yeah, let's get a big check, but you might spend 6 months with somebody, and then the check is, basically you made $1,000 a month, or you made $500 a month in your check, depending upon what area. So the money can be a good reason, but I think more than anything, this is the thing that I had told that person: if you get involved, don't just become an agent, because if you become just an agent and you don't do the investing half, then I think you're missing out a big portion, and a lot of people do. Yeah. So we had a friend of ours who is a phenomenal agent, and it took him years before they started investing, but it's just because it's a scary thing, right? So, but anything you'd add to that? I think that's pretty much why why we did it, what had us interested. But we also, too, we wanted to own a brokerage back in 2016. In 2016, we wanted to own a brokerage anyways. Like, that was like my goal was that we were, and of course we do now, we own a brokerage, but that was one of the goals. So, you know, that at that time, we didn't take the time until COVID hit. We were already prepared and working to
Got some time on our hands.
time in our hands. It's time to go ahead and make that move. So, because beforehand, I mean, what were we doing beforehand, before we got our license?
Just investing.
But I mean, how? Like, big how?
Buying properties to rent out, buying home.
Buying home, yeah. So, before that time, I guess you could say we were part-time investors.
Okay.
It wasn't like our full-time thing, right? We were teaching jiu-jitsu. We were in jiu-jitsu, running jiu-jitsu academy. So, you know, your life goes in stages, right? It starts here, and then it kind of moves into there. And I think it has a lot to do with why. And of course, we made the switch. So now it's more real estate, not as much jiu-jitsu. You know, it's made that switch because, you know, we see life comes in stages, and it's become that stage. So now we do work with people to help sell their home. We spend more time actually doing that, selling homes, and of course investing as well. So, you know, so I hope that helps anybody who maybe is out there thinking about getting a license. Anything you'd add for that? Of anybody who is considering getting a license? Anything you would advice you'd give to someone?
It's not that hard to get it, but
Those are qualifications. In fact, most, I was reading this the other day, it's 18% of people actually make it past their first 5 years of having their license.
Yeah.
18%. That is
I think
really,
a lot of people get discouraged because there are fees associated with having a license, and you got to do continuing education and all that. And so people get on, and it might be a year before you get your first deal.
Yeah.
And so they go in thinking, oh, I'm going to make all this money, and it takes them a year to get a deal, and they've had to pay out all these dues over, and they get discouraged and they quit.
Yeah.
And
yeah, absolutely. And so yeah, I
just
agree.
keep that in mind. But one deal will pay for all your fees.
Yeah. It's work. Definitely it's work. So you're not going to walk in and be the millionaire immediately, or, you know, make a crap ton of money. But and then it was about 6 months is what it was. We'd already been in the business on one half, so for us that wasn't the case. We knew what we were doing. We weren't green to the gills with it. So we had a big advantage of that. So yeah, definitely. The money is like, ooh, but I mean, it's a lot of work. It's not what people think. They think, you know, it's have a nice
It's a
car.
lot of driving around.
Yeah. There's 20% of the agents do 80% of the sales. That's what it is. 20% of the agents do 80% of the sales. So that's the way to look at it. So it depends on where you want to be. And I believe the number was most part-time agents only sell like 2 or 3 a year, and that's it. 2 or 3 homes a year, you know. So, but if you do get your license, I would recommend, you know, starting slow. Don't just jump straight in from like I quit to go to my license, because there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn, even as experienced as we are as investors, and understand a lot of the things about, you know, real estate that most people have trouble with in the beginning. We still learn a lot with different stuff. Like, oh man, did you know about that and with this? So it's a very creative business too, and a lot you can do. So, but anyhow, I hope that helps. If anybody's out there thinking about getting their license, you know, if you have any questions, guys, that's part of what this is. If you have a question, please send that to either myself or Misty, and then we'll do the same thing. We'll answer it here, ask the stories, and then we'll give you our answer to that. You know, please keep it anything related to, you know, obviously real estate, selling your home, buying a new home, or, you know, or just business, investing, you know, real estate investing, or, you know, business in general. So, and we'll answer those questions for you guys, and then we'll come with more questions. So, and then of course we don't let each other know what the questions are, so that makes it more fun, because it's kind of like, what are we talking about today? So, but if you guys found some value in this, please do us a favor and share it with your friends. Maybe you have a friend that is wanting to be in this that would, you know, find some value in this, and, you know, a little bit of advice on what they're looking to do, and maybe in this case looking to become an agent. They can hear someone else's story. But, you know, that's the fee that we ask, is that you share this with with anyone that you feel like can come, that can benefit from any of the questions that are asked to us. So, and these are all real questions too, guys. These aren't just something we just made up. These are things that we actually get asked, and so that's what makes it fun. So it might be something she get asked, something I got asked, and we just kind of throw it at each other and see what the other one says. So, but anyhow, and of course, if you guys having those questions asked, hit us up, and we look forward to guys seeing you next time on Ask the Stories.
Bye.
See y'all later.